Hi, Coach.
Hi.
So, is it the false news that Shakib injury you told not at all? They explained that they have Shakib has a surgery also had a surgery also, and he is suffering his bowling fingers injury, and he couldn't bowl. That is why he couldn't carry on in the middle.
Yeah,
Is it wrong?
I'm not aware of that, so I don't know. So I can't add anything to that. Yeah, look, I think the the difference between the first and the second innings was obviously ball's face. So I think Indian bowlers first innings certainly challenged the stumps really well, and they knocked people over. So we didn't get any significant partnerships. The difference with the second is we got people that got in, so they faced balls. So if you're not facing balls and you've got a new player coming in, I think what India did really well was they challenged the stumps early on, and they got reward for that. So yeah, the mindset around how we approach it is that doesn't change. It's all about scoring runs, and you're looking to score. So that hasn't changed. I just think that we got tested, or players got tested early on in their innings around the stumps more, and that was a big difference. So yeah, whoever we're playing against, obviously we're playing against India, some quality bowling, very confident side, especially playing at home. So you're going to be challenged. So it was a case of, well, how do we match that? And you have to look to score, and that's what we just reinforced to the batting group in particular, to trust themselves, trust their strengths, but have that in the back of your mind. It's all about trying to score runs and how you go about that and how you approach that. Yeah, I think it's 17 tests India have won at home. Yeah, like so everyone knows how formidable they are anywhere in the world, but particularly at home because the confidence of playing at home. But whoever you are, you've still got to, well, in my view, and what we've talked about is yes, you've got to look at what those strengths are, but also look at what those opportunities present. And you have to have that in the front of your mind. Otherwise, there's no point coming and playing if we don't think we can A, compete, and A, manage the pressure that's put on us and deal with that. So for us, it's about, right, yes, we understand that there are threats because they're good players, but also what are the opportunities and how can we impact the game from our strengths and use our strengths to impact the game. So as an example, nullify bowlers at certain times, but be really conscious of where the fields are to rotate strikes so they can't get into a pattern of bowling at one particular person. Look to score so that if they do miss, we cash in when people miss. Because again, Indian bowlers are also human. They're not going to execute all the time. But then if you're not looking to score, you're going to miss out on the scoring opportunity. So that's the mindset we try to put into play. And we'll keep striving to do that because we need to, if we are to challenge, and especially against the top ranked teams like your Indias, your Australias, and your Englands, that's the mindset for me you have to have. Otherwise, there's no point coming here.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
So, is it the false news that Shakib injury you told not at all? They explained that Shakib has a surgery also, and he is suffering his bowling fingers injury, and he couldn't bowl. That is why he couldn't carry on in the middle.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that, so I don't know. So I can't add anything to that. Yeah, again, it's something that we start about, obviously, talk about. It goes without saying you need to get into your innings, so you need to start well, and then obviously once you get in, once you face sort of 20, 30 balls, and you've got a bit of an idea in terms of assessment of what's happening. You like to obviously go on from that, especially when you get to 30, 40 runs, because you're generally in. But yeah, it's something that we again talk about because, say, you've done the hard work, and then it's making sure that you cash in. So I think in Pakistan we did do that in patches, and like I say, it's something that we will continue to keep talking about and keep working towards in terms of practice. So yes, it is an area that we're conscious of, but the key bit is, for me at the moment, is making sure that our approach to batting, we get ourselves in first, because that's something that we haven't done well enough. Certainly over the last, if you look at the Sri Lanka series we won, go back to March, where the starts of innings that was an area that we identified. So we're doing that better. But as you said, we certainly once you get to 40, 50, 60 balls, ideally you then go on to about 120 balls, and if you do that, then you're going to walk away with a reasonable reward or effort. Oh, I think there's a couple of things we regret. I think obviously first innings, India 6 for 140 was a really good position, and building on that, so that was unfortunate. I think the first innings, there were balls that I believe the skill level within our group was good enough to deal with those balls. So, across that first innings block, certainly when we sit back and look at it, review the game, whenever that ends, that certainly would be a discussion point in terms of how can we improve our performance, because that's what we want to do is how do we get better and how do we keep moving forward as a group, whether from a batting perspective or from a bowling perspective. So in terms of days to bat, it's still a good wicket. Yeah, today we've seen that there are Ashwin's obviously got a couple of balls to bounce quite significantly, but it's still, if you miss, you can still score. So for us tomorrow is still a reasonable surface. So just about 360 to win, I think. So yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow. Yes or no? I think yes. They're all left-handers, so I guess from a bowling lines point of view, it might be similar, but they're all different. They all score off different lengths. They've got different strengths. So there's a bit of yes and no. We don't really sort of look at that. I think I know one day cricket, it's you mix and match your batting order left hand, right hand, but I don't think that's an issue for us.